Okay, well, welcome everyone to another Wednesday evening with the Shower Door Professionals. We are all here together in the Zoom call. Just people are showing up, and looks like we're streaming live in Facebook land, so all is well with the world. Um, yeah, before we get to our topic, I just wanted to kind of circle back to a couple weeks back. We had a discussion about the possibility of kind of changing I don't know, the focus of our group, the name at least. Um, we've been called Shower Door Professionals for quite a while, and just kind of kicked around the idea of, maybe expanding it to like other custom glass type of work, heavy glass maybe, or custom glass, maybe to include more of like the handrail segment or, partitions. There's like wine rooms. There's a lot of similar work that our members do. Um, and, just thought about the idea of opening it up. So we did a little poll on the Facebook page. And it's hilarious. It's like out of like 5,000 members of the group, we got like 150 responses, something like that. And the overwhelming majority say, no, don't change it. Just keep it the same. So, I don't know. It's less work for me not to change it, really. I just like coast, man, just leave it like it is. But I don't know. It's just kind of a thought. I always want to be open to ideas, or if there's a growth opportunity, but it may not be something that's going to make much of a difference one way or the other. But anybody have any strong feelings about it? We'll chat about that for a minute.
I wouldn't say I have a strong thought, but I'm wondering how many people weren't quite sure. I commented and I saw a couple of other people comment when you said, should we open it up? And it's like, well, wine room, rails, partitions, yeah, but auto glass, commercial,
Oh,
windows, no. So I wonder if the survey had been worded differently, if you would get more of a I don't know what a different response. I don't know.
right. Yeah, I see what you mean. Um, yeah, that makes sense. That's really always the challenge in talking about the glass industry. Even within the glass industry, it's really hard for people to understand what you're talking about. You have to be like really specific and really, and how, I mean, I don't know if anybody would read past the first like 5 words of a post because people's attention span is so short. So if I don't know if I explained it any more thoroughly, if I would just even lose more people, there'd be like, it'd only be 75 people would respond instead of 150. I was like, oh, I can't do all this reading. I mean, can't you just make a video or something? Can't you just do a TikTok thing, Which might be a good idea. TikTok thing might be a good idea. Just a little 30-second
You
explanation.
should do a video and dance out the question.
That's a good idea. Some cue cards or something, hold them up. But anyway, the thing is, you can always do something different. It's not like if you change, then it's hard to change back. But if you don't change, it's always easy to change onto something else. But I appreciate your feedback, Shannon. Yeah, I kind of got that too. It's like, well, what do you mean? You mean open it to everybody? Like, yeah, like you say, auto glass? It's like, No, I wouldn't do that. I think just, to expand the definition to include all the stuff that's getting posted to the group anyway,
Yeah.
right? Because there's a whole bunch of handrail, there's a whole bunch of wine rooms, there's a whole bunch of, you know, what else? That's it. Partitions, like other heavy glass, other frameless glass type stuff. But anyway, that's my thought on that. So I was thinking of talking about, I made the topic on cordless tools. This is a great topic. I don't know if we've ever like had this as a topic, but back when I started many, many decades ago, we didn't have no damn cordless tools. We drug cords around and we liked it. They had this Makita, big old drill like this big, the big long battery like that. And it
Heck
was
yeah,
9 volts and it lasted for 12 minutes.
that was a game changer, Chris.
That was a game changer.
I had one
Yeah.
of those. I think I still got it around here somewhere. I just got to dig for it.
You had to have like a bucket full of batteries. That was the key if you wanted to do any work. And really, that was for like when you really just couldn't, you had to go do something. You just couldn't string a cord, you just needed to go drill one hole or something, and but it was like amazing to have a battery powered tool that could actually, do actually drill a hole, run a bolt, run a screw or something like that. You know, or a few of them in a row. But wow, now there's nothing you can't really get that's that's not battery powered. And so I know people feel very strongly about their cordless tools, about their brands, whatever.
So my first cordless drill before Makita was a battery.
What kind?
It was a battery in a metal box with a regular drill that you plugged into it. It's like a 12-volt, 6-volt battery, I think.
Really? So just some kind of a converter, you just plugged your corded
The
tool.
cord, the drill was made with a plug to plug into the battery.
Okay, so it was actually a battery powered. It was made to run on batteries,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it still had a cord that plugged into
No,
it.
no, it had a cord, but the battery you plugged into,
Right, right. Yeah,
you
yeah.
back in the house and drill with it.
So, yeah. So you could have a shorter cord.
Yeah, yeah. That was the first version we had.
That's
Where you didn't have to run a cord to a plug.
Daniel's asking what we did before powered tools. Back, yeah, when you had like an egg beater,
Yeah, yeah.
turned it, like to drill a hole, right, bang two rocks together or something.
Brace and bit.
Remember that? Yeah,
And then you
I
had
don't know about
then
you
you had the
guys.
Yankee screwdrivers to drill the whole screw the screws in.
exactly. Yankee
I
screwdriver.
got one of those too somewhere around here.
Yeah.
I'll bet you probably got one of everything.
Uh, just those, the Yankee tool. Hey, when I first seen the Yankee tool, I was amazed. Like, oh crap, that looks really nice. Just like yeah, some of the Christians still use them. The little Yankee tool. I see.
You
We
get
had
hurt by one of those things.
we had the bigger one that was, about that long.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
18 inches long or something.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It had a lot of torque behind it.
Yeah. You could hurt yourself with one of those things. Knock your teeth out or something.
That's how we used to screw storefronts in.
Ugh, that's funny.
Yep. Good
Thank
time.
you for taking us back in time. I'm getting like these whiplashes.
Yeah, right. Well, I can remember when we used to, like when an extension cord went bad, got run over by a cart or something like that, and it got frayed, whatever, you cut the end off and put it on the drill you had. So you'd have like a 10-foot or a 15-foot cord on your drill. So you'd have a drill and a screw gun both that you had to drag around, but if you had a long cord on them, it made it you know, a little bit easier to work with. But once battery powered tools became strong enough to do the work and run, for more than an hour at a time, man, then you really had something. So back in the day, it was like, for me, it was like DeWalt. It was kind of
But wall's still the man. It's still a tool.
yeah, that's kind of the best thing going, So, and that's the other thing, is once you start collecting those battery powered tools, then, well, you don't want to have a bunch of different brands of batteries, so you start getting all the same brand of tools. Then you're pretty much married to that brand.
Yeah, I posted maybe 2 weeks ago. Home Depot was having a good deal on DeWalt batteries. I don't know if anybody bought one or what.
I saw the post.
Yeah, uh, it was this deal right here, this box. So I'm gonna see it. Oh,
Your background is bleeding it out. Let me
yeah,
see.
you guys see it now?
There you go.
Yeah, I got it. So I bought 10 of them.
Did
Yeah,
you really?
yeah, I bought and gave them to some of my guys.
Nice.
Uh, you got a 6 amp battery with a 4 amp with the charger. That's still, I think it was like for $88.
Sweet.
Yeah,
There you go.
and that bought me another drill too, a brand new one. I couldn't. I'm like a sucker for new drills. One comes out, I gotta have it.
Nice.
Do
So
you
what's
guys make most of your technicians buy their own hand tools like that, or as a owner, do you supply them? Just out of curiosity.
They'll buy their drills and stuff, but if their battery goes bad, I'll buy them one. Like hey, you know, like we bought these ones, we gave them the guy. Most of our guys have DeWalt. I just gave one to them, so they'll make them happy for a little bit,
Yeah.
But they'll buy their own because some of them are guys they go do their side jobs, at home, and if I buy them their drills, well, I want those drills to stay here. You ain't taking them home with you.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'd rather them just buy their own, and then if they want to do a side job, somewhere, go for it, man. Ain't gonna do it on my tools, but I'll help you do some stuff, the battery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember. You guys remember the old Black and Decker where they have the change heads? You guys remember that drill?
I don't.
You put a drill bit in one, and then like a fill up, and then the other, and then you twist it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It had like multiple chucks that you could like
Yeah.
spin.
Oh, I thought that was nice when that came out. I was like, oh heck yeah, this is gonna be easy. It sucked. It was bad.
Works good in theory, but not in practice, huh?
What does everybody use to adjust your doors? What product do you guys use? Like, you guys go just shams or wood shams, or you guys have different tools that you guys use, or what's your guys' method of adjusting your door when you're installing?
Good question. What are you guys doing out there? Using like wood shim shingles, or use the
We
little
use those
pump up?
shower door feet, that you can adjust up and down.
So like those ones for that CRL has,
Yeah.
that you kind of got a little ratchet thing that you turn.
Yeah. Yeah. My guys seem to like those the best.
Like this thing right here, like these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things aren't cheap though, are they?
Well, when I bought this set, like I don't know, like 5 years ago, they were like $130, and I just bought me another one. It was like $460 for them.
Yeah. But what do you get, a pair?
A pair, yeah. But they're freaking awesome though, dude. I wouldn't work without them. You can adjust. I mean, you can adjust your door just to 16th and get it perfect. I mean, without like a shim, you got to worry about the door slipping or moving out of alignment. You got to do that. That holds in place, and you don't have to worry about none of that. The only thing you gotta do is when you set it in there and you start adjusting your door, depending if it's 3/8 or half inch, it will push your door out a little bit because there's a little play in it for half inch. So it'll sort of kick it out a little bit. So you gotta just, align your door up just one time and then it'll stay. And then you
Just
just
be aware
adjust
of
it.
it.
Yeah, but they're awesome, man. You just adjust it. It's pretty good. I like them. Makes the job a lot easier. Costs money, but you gotta spend money to make money, right?
That's what they say. Yeah, I've seen those things before, but I never actually tried it.
They're good. I bought my last set through Overcast, so they hooked me up with my price a little bit. They kind of give me discounted on it.
Nice. Cool. Well, yeah, there you go. I guess that's everything we need to know about that. It's funny because I don't know, usually people are really like passionate about their tools, and they're like, oh, this brand, like Milwaukee, you have to have Milwaukee brand, or like, oh no, you have to use DeWalt.
I mean, I think Milwaukee, there's a good tool, but I think some of their stuff is way too strong for what we do. Like some of their drills are like my brother, he carries Milwaukee, man, it's strong. I'm like, if I drill into a tile, I'm afraid I'm gonna break the whole house. Forget the tile.
Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
pretty. Milwaukee makes a good drill too. I'm not, but I grew up using DeWalt. I like it. They're a freaking awesome drill.
Yeah, Milwaukee makes a ton of different battery powered tool. I mean, like so many different things. They make like a battery powered chainsaw. So I don't know if you need that to install a shower door, but if you did, it'd be great to have.
An adjustment.
Hey, you got to move your pony wall a little bit. I measured too big. Oh, let's get that pony wall a little bit. Here you go.
That's right. That's okay.
Chainsaw, huh?
I got just the right thing.
What?
Here's a question in the chat. Do you guys use an impact to tighten your hinges or just hand tighten them?
Hand tighten it. Hand tighten.
I use a impact drill.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
Are you talking about for the cover plate or for the actual installation screws?
The cover plate, I have a DeWalt.
I'm completely.
I have for the plate, I have a DeWalt little drill. You turn the drill to the direction of your wrist, and it turns for you. And it's not super powerful. It's just enough to, it does a job. And then you put it in a stationary position, and you can use that just a regular hand tool, so you can tighten up your hinges a little bit more if you need to.
I used to use a torque wrench for a while.
I did that too.
But I got over that. It was like, yeah.
Overkill.
Yeah, I mean it's like I've never broke a screw head off of a cover plate, the hinge cover plate by turning it by hand. I'm pretty strong, I got, but I mean you can tighten them as, in my experience, use all of your strength and don't really have to worry about breaking the screw off. Were those like quarter 20s or
Did
something?
never break one of those off.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Back to what you were saying about how strong the Milwaukee is. We use the 12-volt impact and the 16 or 18-volt drill. So we use both. We don't use the hammer drill at all, ever. And I'm sure my guys are tightening down the hinges with the impact, but we haven't had any problems, not very much, with slippage lately. So, I mean, there's still some of that, but, the impact's not having a negative effect. I I don't believe. So
So you don't use a hammer drill at all, even when you're drilling holes?
that's correct.
So what do you do instead?
It seems like it takes longer, but it doesn't because once it gets going, it's fine.
Yeah.
We use those arrowhead spade bits.
Yeah.
And now we use structures out of Florida and they're pretty cheap, so they're very disposable. I mean, in other words, you do about 4 holes and throw it away, unless it's really hard material, you know. You can throw more of them away if you had to. The quartzite is the biggest problem. You'll burn through a lot of stuff with quartzite,
Yeah.
but that's rare that we run into it. But when we do, that's a big deal. And of course, we have that in our contracts and stuff, that if we run into that, that will be extra because we'll burn through a lot of stuff and a lot of time. So
Yeah, there's something to that. I mean, I think you're right. I think if you use a hammer drill, it seems like you're going faster. But
well, you can crack the tile. So we used to crack when I was installing. I used the hammer drill a lot because that porcelain was something. And we'd crack a tile every few months, couple months, 3 months, whatever. And since we went to these spade bits, you cannot use the hammer action.
right.
So when you go to the spade bit, it doesn't put any undue pressure on the tile at all. At first, it seems like it's taking a little longer, but once it gets going, it's fine. And it doesn't take too much longer at all. It's a selling point too. I mean, we can tell our customers, hey, we're using, we're not using impact or a hammer drill on this. We use a special spade bit. So we get better, more precise holes, which, they don't chip out. And they also stay true to, they don't walk.
Right.
Sorry, I'm walking around, walking outside and I got dogs. But
Nice.
anyway, yeah, these spade bits just don't walk on you. So you can buy them a lot of different places, but that's, structures is where I get them.
Yeah.
So,
And yeah. Well, and the great thing too is like if you're not going to use a hammer drill, you don't have to buy a drill with that feature, and they're less expensive. It costs more to get a cordless with a hammer drill feature,
right.
you know.
Well, now I always give the guys a couple Realtons, but it's rare that they use them because they haven't been asking for them. Now those Realton bits really do cut well, but that's where, when they start getting dull, then we use that hammer part of it. But like I say, I don't think we're doing any of that hardly at all anymore. It's just a backup plan, you know.
Yeah.
So if they hit something really tough, then yeah, use that hammer, use a Realton bit. Don't waste a lot of time.
Yeah, like after through the tile, sometimes you have to, you still got some hard substrate underneath it that you have to drill through, and that's a place where you might want to have a hammer drill.
Right.
Do
And
you
then
cool your bits off?
What's that?
that?
Do you cool your bits off with water at
Yeah.
all?
Yes. So, we use Sprayway and we just take the cap, put a little water in it. We make a little diaper out of our paper towels and stick it right below where the holes are, and it catches all the dust. Yeah, it's just kind of making a little pouch, if you will. Just use a little tape and a paper towel.
Mhm.
So it's disposable, and dip the drill bit in the water and keep it cool. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's good.
works good.
This is what the bit I use right here. I use this one. I get it from company out of Ohio Tools. That's what I use, and I go all gun hole, man. Hammer drill, everything. I don't I rarely break a tile. When I use this, it does pretty quick. Yeah,
Those are the same drill bits that I was using.
yeah, these things work great.
Yeah, they are good.
It looks like Bosch, if I saw it right.
Yeah, it's Bosch. They have them
Okay.
on Home Depot, but they're like freaking like $6 a bit. And I found this company called Ohio Tools, and I think they're like two something a bit, so a lot cheaper from them. And same thing. So I get about 500 at a time when I order them. And they
Brad, what are you paying for those spade bits you're getting?
A couple bucks.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad, but like I say, they're disposable. You kind of chuck them. I usually buy about 1,000 at a time.
Yeah.
So I get 3/16 and quarters
Mhm.
and have a few, uh, I think 5/16. I don't buy very many. I just, enough that everyone has an extra thing in their toolkit in case they need it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, you need a bigger hole for like if you're doing the Cambridge. Those they come with like 12, number 12 screws. And then
the heavy duty hinges.
yeah,
Yeah.
so,
yeah, Primas,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
senior Prima. I mean,
Senior Prima,
yeah,
right. Every now and then you
yeah.
need a little bit bigger hole. Yeah. I love those spade bits, man. They're awesome. Like it says, keep them wet. And if you get them inexpensively enough, you know, if you have to go through one for every hole, it's still a lot cheaper than labor.
Yeah.
When I
And
do, when I
they
do a
drill glass, by the way. They drill glass pretty well.
Oh yeah, definitely. They drill glass great. Yeah.
Hmm. Like if glass tiles is what I'm referring to. So sure.
Shannon. Shannon's note says, note to Brad, we fold the paper towel to catch the dust too, but we call it an envelope, not a diaper.
Oh, we call it a diaper.
Better, better.
Where all the shit goes.
Sorry, guys. I don't mean to sit here off camera, but I'm eating ramen.
No,
Not pretty.
that's
No,
cool.
all I can do is comment with type.
That's hilarious. Call it an envelope, not a diaper.
You can charge
Are
for
you
it that way.
guys, be on the phone? Are you guys using a diaper? Make sure you use diapers out there.
which one
Uh,
depends.
Yeah, exactly. Love it.
don't have to use the customer's bathroom that way.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
Really need breaks, just on, so to speak.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. Hey, has anybody ever tried that? Let's see, who makes that tool? It's it's a drill that has water built in. I'm thinking, oh gosh.
Isn't that where you put the thing on the wall and
No, it's the drill itself is water fed.
yeah.
There's a
Greg Stillall, he was talking about one before that he used, and he said he doesn't like to tell too many people about it. He mentioned it once on a call, and I was curious about it, but I forgot what it was, and I've been wanting to find it.
I think Bole makes one. Oh, someone says best tool.
I
Bron
think it'd be great to try, but I think what would happen is it would be kind of like the torque wrench. You'd be like, this is more than it's worth. But I guess if you try it, you never know.
I figure it'd be too much work.
It might
Take
be
I
good
think
for like handrails and stuff if you're drilling them on a patio that you're drilling a bunch of holes in. If you're doing any sort of handrail jobs, it might be good.
yeah, I think about the mess that it would
Yeah,
They had one at the trade show.
Mhm.
yeah. See now, that'd be too much work. You gotta go in there, set it up, make sure you don't get everything wet. It's too much work.
What about the hammer drills with the vacuums on them? We were supposed to use one on a commercial job site. They were telling us to use it, but we just kept avoiding them. And, then we were out of there. We don't typically do commercial, but there was a commercial job that required people drilling holes in to have there was a specific one, that sucked up everything as you drilled.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by GlassGadget.com. Showcase Innovations creates tools that help shower door installers be more efficient and save time. Check out GlassGadget.com for more information.
Commercial, man, you're supposed to be dirty.
Well, I don't know. This commercial job site we were on is it was an apartment complex or something like that, but we were doing a bunch of glass partitions on the main floor, in the office areas and all sorts there. And I don't know, they wanted it, but we just, avoid them and get out of there.
I wait for them to leave the room and I'll go back. Who cares?
Yeah, that's basically what they did.
Construction, man. Did you get all those IGs installed?
Yes, and out of the 3,000 square feet of glass, we broke 3 of them. 2 of them were actually not even with the machine. It was just each day the guys got there, the ones up across the top. I guess they decided to break one each day, their first one. So, and they were setting it by hand on a lift, and they broke 2 small ones, and then with the machine that we rented, my dad and then broke one at the very end of the day one day, just getting in a hurry or something. I don't know, but it's all done. Everything's caulked, vinyls ran. We got to go back this Friday down there and finish it up and send the bill. So
I figure I never used one of those before. I figure it just take too long. I mean, it's like
it was fun. I mean, we were able to have 2 guys setting pieces of glass that were so with that lift that we rented. That's another fun power tool. It was fun for them to use. We had a guy with a broken collarbone that was setting glass. So I mean, he was got a broken collarbone, but he's setting these 48 by 112 or however big they were, 120-inch pieces of insulated glass by himself. And somebody just watching them. They were just watching top and bottom, and 2 people setting these big old things all day, So it
Was
worked
that
nicely.
was that smart lift you rented?
We rented it from Skyview. They came in within less than a week and delivered us a piece of equipment, So it was pretty convenient. And nobody was bitching about their backs afterwards, Nobody had to lift anything heavy at all, Like it was nice. And then the contractor said, "Hey, let me pay for that." And he said, "What the hell are you guys doing renting something?" So he thought he had enough there, and we just wanted something to play with. But it turned out it was nice, So
We own one now. I won't go back without it.
yeah, I don't know if our guys are gonna really enjoy this Friday when we have to replace that one big one. Um, but whatever, it is what it is. It's ground floor and it's fun. It's fun. I didn't get to use it, but I got to watch them and help them out and stuff and just kind of be a set of eyes every now and then. But I think it's definitely worth it. You're not hurting anybody's. You're just not. You're taking the heavy lifting away. It's nice.
It's
Why wouldn't you do that? And
it's great. 2 guys and a sprinter can do everything now because they
yeah,
in a van. We have a ramp goes inside the van. Glass goes on the rack on the outside, and they can go anywhere. It's 2 guys. It's
yeah,
not 2 vehicles. It's everything's 1 vehicle, 2 guys. Doesn't matter the size. Whether we're
yeah.
doing mall fronts or big IGs, doesn't matter. It's great.
hmm
I wouldn't go back, and no one's complaining.
So that's probably. I'm assuming that's how they set some of those large mall front glasses because we used to do some mall glass like in Mall Georgia near us. We did some work and stuff, and that's big pieces of glass, and we're just used to heavy lifting, and everybody complaining about how heavy it is afterwards and stuff. But that's got to be, it might be worth it to get one.
Are
So,
you talking about a smart lift?
yeah, we rented one from Skyview, and it's just, it was a
Which one
nice
did
one.
you, do you know which one you rented?
I have it somewhere, and there's pictures on all my social media for it that we just did, and it's somewhere in there. I could dig for it, but
No, it's fine. Was it 4 cup or 6 cup?
it was 4 cups, and it spanned about 24 inches by 48 inches, but it was, it had the capacity to pick up quite a bit of weight. I don't remember off the top of my head. So it was like a SG 450 or something from Skyview.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Did you trailer it there or did How'd
No,
you
they
get?
dropped it off. I mean,
Uh,
it cost us like $3,700 for a week. So they charge like $900 for delivery and then another $900 for pickup, and then the rental was whatever. But I mean, the contractor decided to pay for it anyway, so it didn't really cost us anything.
the contractor paid for the lift?
Yeah, he said, "What are you guys doing renting more stuff?" He's like, "I don't have enough out here for you." And he said, he said he had too much money in the job and he wanted to pay for it. So
Yeah, that's nice.
it's basically, it was a residential job and the homeowner is just has too much money and he has to build crazy shit whenever he can each year. One of those.
I
Okay.
hate it
It's
when that happens.
Yeah, it's not something that we had to like compete for and bid or anything like that. It was just, can you do it?
Sounds like cost plus to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
exactly.
It was a good one. But it was fun playing with that lift, watching them work that lift and using it. The problem is now they're used to it.
Mhm.
Um, does anybody buy the drill bits from CRL? That's where we get ours from, and they're kind of expensive, but they work. We usually just price one per shower door, and we don't usually need any more than that.
Yeah, that's what I use. CRL.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to use something called El Dorado tools in Texas, but I feel like it was the same exact thing that CRL was getting, and then all of a sudden we couldn't get them anymore because they used to come in like a yellow tube and we'd get 25 at a time and it was called El Dorado tools. And then we just couldn't ever get them anymore. They never had enough. I don't know if CRL bought them all or what, because they looked exactly the same.
What does CRL
I
call their drill bits? They haven't, I'm trying to think what the name is.
think it's a Realton bit if that came in the yellow tube, if it's the same thing I'm thinking of.
I think they're all made by the same company, but they just have
Probably.
different names. But I'm trying, they used to call it like Super Bit or something like, does that sound right? CRL, something like that. They had some name for it. They were pretty good. They were pretty good, like just regular masonry drill bits.
I just tell my wife we need more, and she orders more, and she asks why do we need more. So that's all I do.
Working, honey,
Mhm.
doing man stuff over here. Just
She
getting
says we go. She says we go through them too fast.
too fast. That's right. She's probably right.
Some of the guys could be taking them. We had to like implement tracking when we started supplying everything. What that's the beauty of supplying is the guys have an endless load. You don't have to hear we were out. The horror of it is guys pocket it, they throw it away. It becomes indispensable because they see so many, and usually when you see abundance, you
Mhm.
waste. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the big thing we saw. And as far as like letting them get their own tools, one side was like, yeah, buy your own tools. But once like so many people started buying into a certain brand, in this case it was like Milwaukee for that little season of a few years, and more guys started using it, it got so much easier for everyone to have charged batteries, know how to use the same tools, know how much pressure to apply, because like there was no difference in each tool that was across the board. And when we supplied it, we could say, do the quality of job we want because we supplied the tools, everything you need to do our way of doing stuff versus, hey, whatever you have, why don't you have the tools you need? Kind of like there's the pros and cons of making them buy their own stuff, but also supplying it became like a really good ease of teamwork after that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Our method recently has just been that we price one drill bit per shower door, and we just give them one drill bit per shower door if they got it on the truck. So what they do with it at that point, it's whatever. I mean, if they have soft tile and they don't even need it, they can use it put it in their stock, and use it for another one when they have hard tile.
Do you have them locked away, your supply?
Yeah, the drill bits are locked away, and either me or my dad will go get them for the guys. We don't just let them have access to them.
Yeah, I've heard someone else say the same thing. They did the exact same thing. They just allocated one drill bit per job. And I mean, if you just got to go out and do one shower door, drill 8 holes, whatever, there's a good chance, like, you know, a used drill bit will get you through that job. And then there might
Yeah,
be jobs where you need two or three, but it
yeah. So,
seems to work out to an average of about one per job.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
those the Bosch that I use, something I could just use one for the whole job. It goes through.
Yeah.
They work pretty well.
Yeah.
You can use one for the whole job. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could be a little hard tile. Dude, I think it'll just blow it out like nothing, and still be good for another job. That's how good they are. I
Yeah,
mean,
especially if you keep them cool. You know, if you
yes.
like use water, keep them cool.
Use Brad's method. Dip it in the spray away cap. Like I do the same thing. We use the same. I do the same method.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah. What I've learned is take a little piece of paper towel, put it in that center part,
Uh-huh.
just get it wet, because then you don't spill it all the time. Then if you knock the cap over, which I always do,
That's true.
the water doesn't spill out.
You ever forget to empty the cap and then put it back on?
Not yet. Now watch what's gonna happen. I'm gonna freaking Daniel.
Now it will. Yep.
Freaking jinx me, dude. Watch.
So the only tools we supply are like the specialty tools. So like if we're doing door hardware and stuff like that, and they need a jigsaw or anything like that, or a screen porch, and they need to cut out some shoe mold or something like that, we'll make them take like the multi-tool. Some of the guys have those things, but some of them don't. But so it's kind of some of the specialty things, or like a Bosch, like a big industrial style hammer drill that we use on commercial stuff. They'll take that. But all your basic hammer drill, impact, and regular screw gun. It's kind of how we know if they're serious or not, if they have them when they're applying.
Yeah, people tend to take care of their own tools, and not leave
Mhm.
them behind and not like run them over with a truck or whatever, for the most part.
And
If they're your tools, they'll run them over with the truck. Whatever.
we kind of know they're invested in their work and what they do too. If they have their own tools to do the work,
Right.
it's how we
Especially
know
if they're
whether you're a
serious
helper
about it.
or an installer.
Yeah,
If you're a helper, you don't have tools probably.
right. Yeah, exactly.
It would be nice to get to the level where you can just outfit everything with a nice set of tools and
Mhm.
whatnot, but we ain't there yet.
Yeah. It's definitely something to aspire to.
It'd just be nice to have everything look the same.
Right.
That's what we really liked about it. So to everyone kind of looking on brand without trying. And then there was about a 2 year period where we used this tool company called Hilti, and they had their like elite program, whatever, that came with not just supplying everything, rotating out the top drills we wanted every year or two, but also tracking for each device. So our biggest worry was about loss, damage, who did what to what, who has who's this or that, when everything looks the same. And their tools came pre-set with everything we needed to monitor those things, so that having all the same tools didn't become like another chore for the office to look over and babysit. But it was definitely pricey, but that was like the dream scenario is something like that, where everything's tracked and you supply it all and you're not losing because people don't care about the stuff and you can't tell who hurt what, who broke this or that.
Yep. Yeah, Hilti's, they make great tools.
Oh, Hilti is very good.
Yeah. Daniel shared a
That's what I use to.
photo of that lift he was talking about.
Yeah, I use a Hilti hammer, the rotor hammer for when I
Oh,
do.
yeah. They're awesome. They're great. They make great tools. They make great, drills and screw guns too. Back in the days, like I was talking about when we used to, drag cords around. Hilti tools were like,
That was a quarter. That's a quarter one I have. It's a Hilti. That's
yeah,
good.
back in the commercial glass days.
But
Is.
I think my Hilti one is like 20 years old. It's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
they last forever, and they're good.
Mine's older than that.
They're not cheap, but they're quality, man. High quality for sure.
No, they would drill right through concrete, everything, even if the tip broke off.
Yeah.
So they would go right through
You didn't
it.
even need to put a drill bit in it.
I
No,
mean,
They're
they were
just
great.
man, you
Mine still
don't even have to
metal
plug
case.
it in, really. Just drill a hole.
Yeah, mine's in a metal case. That's how old it is.
Yeah, right. I remember
So
that.
was mine, Tim.
Yeah.
Huh?
I got one in a metal case.
Yep.
But yeah.
And then I got the ram set too, the gun.
Yeah, those are badass.
Hilti that shoots the
Yeah,
22
Hilti.
blank.
That's the kind of the original Hilti tool.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
round set. Yep. When they said back in the day when they said Hilti, that's what they meant was a round set. It was kind of
Yeah.
like the generic name for a round set tool. It's
Yeah.
Hilti. They were kind of
And it even had a head on it that you could shoot it into the storefront, the center glaze storefront.
oh yeah.
It would fit in there and you could
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't really a great practice, but it was good, you know. It was
Especially when it blew it right through the metal.
yeah. Yeah. Good times. Bringing back memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a glass lifting device. It was kind of more like man, it wasn't electric. It was called a rolling glass manipulator from CRL. This was several years back. So it has two cups. They're like 10-inch cups or something. Um, and it's on a kind of a lift thing, kind of a forklift sort of a shaped thing with a cable. So you can reel it up, like hoist it up. And it could lift like, I don't know, a few 100 pounds for sure. And you can, I've still got the thing in storage. I'd like to get rid of it. But you could put the cups on it, hoist it up. You can turn it, like rotate the glass around 360 degrees. And you could also like rotate it to the side so you can like walk through a doorway with it. It's got wheels. So, you know, it does pretty much whatever one of those electric ones will, but a little more manual, you know. But yeah, let one guy do the work of two guys do the work of four, basically, as far as lifting and maneuvering and stuff.
Why don't you use it anymore?
Well, I don't do it anymore.
You don't do what anymore?
I don't do glass work anymore. I can't do
Oh, oh.
He does shrooms.
it. I do shrooms.
So
We do all
what,
day long.
glass?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. Well, 5 days a week. I take a couple days off,
yeah.
you know, because you got to like recover.
You know, the perception of that is just hilarious.
It is, isn't it? Oh man. Yep.
Does anybody have any tools that they use in their shop that they like for shop stuff? Like what you're talking about, a little glass manipulator. Like, so if you have one person working in a shop cutting large mirrors and stuff like that and having to polish them, you know, we typically do our shop work in the morning when there's extra hands around there. But if we ever wanted to hire somebody that was there by themselves, you know, trying to figure out how they'd prep the larger stuff, you know.
You know, we find out it's cheaper just to have everything fabbed and delivered to us, man. We do little stuff like broken windows that come in. Pretty much that's what we service, or a little piece of glass. Anything bigger like a tabletop or something like that, it's cheaper to get it, you know, for my fabricator. It's a lot cheaper than paying one of my guys to do it. I'd rather have them go out and do service work and make more money than just sitting there and something that, you know, I could have another company do for me and not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And some days I'll get it next day. So it all depends, you know, what it is.
We like it for the like mirror walls and stuff like that, you know. So we can recut something, polish it, do whatever we want. So I don't know.
I get all that. I just order all that stuff, man. I don't do that still with that. I still have my drill press to drill holes. Say we need one in emergency. I got that still, but anything else, I just get it ordered. It's just quicker and a lot cheaper.
You don't have to stock mirror, you don't have to stock glass.
Nope.
We just order everything out.
Exactly. I mean, I still have cases of glass and mirror. But those are just, you know, somebody like a storefront, quickie, you know, in and out job.
Yeah.
That's what that's for. But that's about it.
and it's not like it used to be like when I was a young whippersnapper, everybody kind of did a little bit of everything. So, if you were in the shop, I mean, there were a lot of guys who could polish, hand polish something or work the glass table, I mean, it's like, hey, this glass, this glass needs to be cut. Pretty much anybody would just jump in, and do it or whatever, polish or whatever, anything that needs to be done, any kind of fabrication or whatever. And nowadays, like everybody's so specialized. Everybody does like one thing. So it's not that economical to do anything in the shop anymore. I mean, if you need to cut a little piece of something, whatever, cabinet glass or cut a little mirror that to throw in, or that's easy enough to do. But anything more than that, like Adrian's saying, I mean, it's easier and even cheaper just to buy it,
No, we stock 1/8 inch and single strength
right?
for repairs and for people coming in, but
Yep.
everything else we've got a fabricator for our mirrors, our tabletops, and everything.
Yeah.
If we need a piece of 1/4 inch plate. If I ordered it at 3 o'clock this afternoon, I'd have it tomorrow on the truck.
Right.
Same
Yeah, I'll get y'all stuff quick. We wouldn't get it like that, I don't think. So
Huh?
we wouldn't get it that quick, I don't
Yeah.
believe.
Were
Yeah,
you
there we do.
in the woods or
Out in
something?
our area.
No, we got slip racks. We used to have those full of plate. We had crates of 3/16. We had mirrors. We had everything.
The big slip racks on the wall, is that what you had? Those big long ones?
Yeah, well, I
Oh,
still have them here. I can put in.
Hated those things. Those things always freak me out, man. Rip it out. Make sure you catch it in the end. Don't let it hit the floor. Oh man,
Yeah.
I hated that, man. That got me. That was. Whew, you got.
It's sketchy, huh?
Yeah, they've got the oak slotted flooring, and then they have the masonite
Oh yeah, right.
racks that you just slip them into.
Get you. That's
They just
We-
hold
we-
it right now.
that's not for everybody. To slip one of those out, man. Be careful.
Yeah.
I was young too when my dad had me help him. Oh, I was really young. I was probably like 13, 14 years old. He goes, grab the other end. I'm like, what? So I'm there and make sure it doesn't hit the ground, man. I was like, okay. I popped my cherry then and doing the glasswork, guys, right there. That got me good.
Yeah,
First
I
day.
still have a Samaka double belt sanding machine,
Nice. Those are nice.
the big ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Aerosing kind of machine where it's like goes both like crosses like that.
No.
Oh, no.
You have one belt.
Oh,
One
yeah.
belt over here, another one over here.
Yeah, I know what you
When we
mean.
polish it, one was 120, and the other one was 400.
Right.
Yeah, you just go right across and
Yeah.
Huh? Ever seen that? You guys ever use the cork on those to polish the glass? The cork?
Yeah,
Yeah? Does it really work? I've never tried it.
yeah, we do.
Huh.
I even have it for the Makita.
That's
Yeah,
what gives you that like machine polished shine.
The cork, huh? Huh.
Yeah,
Yep.
because we'll polish out notches on 3/8 shower,
Because I got the Shamaka
and
upright.
then at the end we'll hit it with a cork belt.
Sweet.
Hey, just out of curiosity, because it came up earlier today with one of my with my estimator. What is the reasoning for some of these hinges that aren't recommended to put 3 on a door versus 2? Does anyone know the technical answer to that?
Well, it's a granite slab that's perfectly flat. But if you get
Say
a
that
tile
again?
wall, it's not completely straight, or that middle hinge is just going to work against the other two.
You're saying if the glass is not perfectly straight, you're saying the middle
No,
hinge.
it's it. So you get a tile wall,
The wall.
and
Yeah.
if all those hinges aren't perfectly flat, that center hinge, if it's cocked a little bit, it's going to fight the other top and bottom.
Okay.
You want the pivot points to all line up evenly.
Yeah.
And even if one hinge is somewhat cocked, like they might line up evenly, but they're not quite straight. that, that could even affect it. But yeah, I used to have, I've done three hinges before, probably half dozen times in my life. And I've had several of those. I couldn't tell you how many exactly, where they would either make some kind of noise or the gaskets would start to creep out of like one of the hinges, usually the middle.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would have to go back. So yeah, it's exactly the reason.
You'd have to go back because of creaking. Is that what you said? Creaking or
Some noises,
yeah,
and it's almost like it can be a real small noise, but it just magnifies through the glass
yeah.
and
Okay.
sounds worse than it is. So you can do three hinges, but it's like Tim says, you want a nice flat surface where it's a consistent line so that
And
everything's lining up perfectly.
and nowadays there's hinges will carry two hinges will carry, the weight,
Yeah, they make
Yep.
hinges big enough and heavy
They're
enough
big
to,
enough now, you don't have to worry about that.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it only came up because I had a really, really large set of French doors that we were trying to find some hinges for, and the doors were heavy, and I don't think I found a hinge yet for it.
What size is your door, and what's how much does it weigh?
I think the weight was 180.
Oh shoot.
Wow, yeah, that is big.
Yeah.
That's one door, right? And there were two doors. And they do make some hinges out there. I think the max I found is 145.
What
Um,
what is the zero hinge? What's the weight on those?
yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
I think
But it's not going to the soffit. So it's got to have it's got to be wall mounted.
Mhm.
I know portals, and I think even CRL and FHC they have the well portals. I like portals. Heavy duty one is the ultra heavy duty. I think with
Yeah, that's I think it starts with a T, like Taguna or something.
Tenga.
Tega. Yeah.
No,
Well,
I just
that's a 145 limit,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Those are. You're probably better off with using a pivot or something like that. Pivot
Yeah, it's
system.
just not going to it's not going to the soffit.
Uh,
But you can still use a wall mount for the top. Can you
Wall mount pivot.
pivot? Yeah, with an
Well,
L-bracket.
but I don't know if it's rated more. I'll look
Yeah, I
into
don't
it.
know. Yeah, that's
what?
huge. I mean, I haven't heard of anything that heavy,
Yeah.
yeah,
and that
You
I'm
know,
sure.
architects, they come up with great ideas.
Yeah,
they can draw pictures real good.
Yeah.
everything works in two dimensions, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You went to
But
3/8 class. I mean, that's probably not ideal, but that might work.
Well,
Man,
so
did you
again,
What if you go to 3/8 class? I mean, it's probably not ideal. I mean, that's you got to worry about
um,
some bow happening there, huh?
right there.
yeah,
Wow.
there was a reason. Yeah, I was worried about Bo and the right now it calls out for a 120-inch door, which is
hmm,
no way it's going to happen.
Whoa.
What again?
It
120.
calls for a 120-inch door, which there's no way that's going to happen. I've already told the builder that,
Oh,
but um, I'm trying to find a solution because even if I drop it down to 108, I'm still at
what,
160 pounds.
what's your width?
6'2", so you're like 37, 38 inches per door, right?
So can you not just go to like an architectural patch fitting and be done with it? Does it have to be shower hardware?
No, you're right. Except it's not going to a soffit, right?
They
And
they make those wall mount too at the top.
There's
okay,
always a way to
I'm not
adapt.
familiar with it.
Yeah,
Then I
there's
don't
always a way
know.
to adapt top pivot to mount to the wall.
Yeah.
Say that
Just like
again,
they do like a
Chris. No,
transom mount, you can still get a wall mount for the top patch fitting.
so what would it be like? Can you share with me like a part number or something? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, so if you look up like a senior Prima hinge or whatever,
Yeah.
there's a top mount version of it. It's just got an L-shaped bracket that you mount to the wall, and then yeah,
It's an O5. O5.
O5 is the part number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
Top and bottom is O1. The side mount is an O5. Across the top is an O7. So
Would be like
Cardiff
that's
CAR O5,
yeah,
Prima, whatever.
yeah. I
So
can't.
In your premise.
the zero hinge goes to 45 inches wide, only 84 inches tall, 167 pounds, and it's wall mounted on the top. I loved that hinge when we saw it at the show, so we installed it in our showroom, and we've had that thing mounted for probably about 6 months, and we open and close it every day when we open and close. And no sagging, no nothing. It's beautiful. It just swings like butter.
How
It's a
was
great
installation
hinge.
of those? Installation pretty easy.
Yes, it's very easy on the wall mounted. We also did the 180, and it was very difficult on the 180. There's no adjustment as you're trying to line it up. So you have to figure out exactly where you're going to install each of we installed both of them. We installed the regular pivot hinges in our showroom. We installed the 180 outside because we thought it would be a really great commercial option, but we weren't very happy with the 180. And I don't know if everybody calls it that. Sorry, glass to glass, hinging,
Yeah.
Yeah.
door hinge off the glass.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't think that CRL has anything rated higher than the zero. 45 wide, 167 total weight.
That's pretty big. I mean, that's like massive. Really. I mean, anything bigger than that's just stupid. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go
Have they
commercial hardware for
added that to the templates on the shower door designer?
I looked, they don't have them yet. I was messing around with it, see if they added. I couldn't find them.
Yeah, I think Christina sent a note to ask them and also the Smart Builder
Just
folks
send the
to add that.
drawing, send
Yeah.
CRL's drawing to your fabricator and say, do this. It's a
Ooh.
really weird, it's got like this diagonal
Yeah.
cutout. It's really weird, but because of the diagonal, I mean, it's not going to slip, it's not going to go anywhere, but there's also limited adjustability. So, I mean, well, you can't do any more than two hinges anyway, because it slits right on the top and right on the bottom. But I mentioned on the Bellagio, the Lugano and the Como, they're only rated for two hinges. Or yeah, two hinges.
Right.
And we've looked at all of those. There's like no adjustability on there. You better get it just right.
Have you sold them yet in your showroom? Or
We haven't sold the zero yet. We've sold the Bellagio and either the Lugano or the Como. I can't remember which one. But the claim to fame there is that they have these cover plates. So they look all nice inside, and so
Yeah, we did the Bellagio one. That was nice.
Yeah.
how is the adjustability for you?
It worked good. I mean, we didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
As long as you
those
can
too.
play.
I liked it. It was pretty easy to work with, you know. Um, but I've heard other things. I mean, Brian, I haven't seen him in a while. He hasn't been around.
Yeah.
Was saying he had a really bad experience with those.
Yeah, he
Like
said that, yeah.
he couldn't make them work, and it was like a bad deal. So
What?
no, I've used them like one time, you know. So
We
I
used them on a pair of double doors and then a door and a panel, and they were pretty nice. The Bellagio.
yeah, the experience I had was good.
Yeah.
But it was just the one thing. But
If it's right, you're fine. If it's wrong, throw it away. Start over.
yeah, exactly. Start over. That's what I always do. Cool. Well, all right. I
Yeah.
think we've used up our hour. So good job, everybody. Thanks for hanging with me, coming up with some ideas. And like we got a few good tips there. Be sure to join us again next Wednesday. We'll come back at the same time and we'll talk about shower doors and stuff.
All right.
Have a great week, guys.
Good night.
Gals.
Bye, guys. See y'all later.
Bye.